Welcome back, Leveling Up Nation. This is your host, Brigham Blackham. I'm your success strategist, and today is a very special day. We're going to be going and talking about how my friend Jeff Armstrong went from know-how to noteworthy. Now, you're like, wait a second, that sounds like a pun, and if you know me, you're absolutely right. That is definitely a pun. He is someone that is one of the best in the business of seller finance notes. He's got a world of experience, not just in that industry, but speaking about that, training about it. He's a wonderful Renatus instructor as well. My very first exposure to him was actually through that, and I'm so grateful to have him on today. We spoke at the national conference that was a few months ago, about in March. And he was gracious enough to say, you know what, I've got some value I want to deliver. I've got a story that's really impactful. I want to help more people. And he's even writing a book right now. So you are going to get a little sneak peek of some of the amazing experiences that he has. We'll dive deep into the stories. We'll dive deep into what has made him into who he is today. I'm so grateful to have him on. Jeff, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Brigham?
So good.
Good.
So
I'm awake.
Good. You're awake. Oh, I'm so grateful. Now, I am so impressed with not just who you are, but you've got 3 decades of experience in the seller finance notes. There are things that you've forgotten that the people at the very highest level of this industry haven't even gotten to learn yet. So you have forgotten more than most people will ever learn in this industry. I would love to hear, when did it happen? What was that transformation point for you where you're like, oh, wow, I'm Jeff Armstrong, and you can look yourself in the mirror like, I'm the guy. When did it happen?
When did I realize I'm the guy?
Yeah, you're the guy. You're the man.
I am one of the veterans in our industry now. I was just at a conference in Nashville 2 weeks ago, and I realized that wow. I guess it hit me a while ago, but it's more of, I'm kind of a lone wolf. I work out of my house. I've been doing this for 34 years. I mean, longer than some people that are listening to this have been alive. And this is all I do. So I working from home, like I've been doing for all these years, I really don't. I don't think I ever got that. I kind of stay humble. I keep grounded. I keep my ducks in a row, and I do what I need to do to take care of myself and my family, and that's it. The rest is extra, Beautiful. So I don't think in my head, hey, I'm all that. I'm it. But going to conferences and going to places, yes, I get the ego boost, and people just appreciate the content and where I'm coming from, and those are always good feelings too when I go speak at conferences, and I do that quite often. So it hits every time I do another conference. I'm like, wow, people really want to hear what I have to say, and I'm happy to deliver it. It makes me feel good as well.
Wonderful. Well, I know your biggest thing is you take people from the note industry and get it from paper to profit, and I think it's so impressive, all the different things I've seen you do over the years, to be able to very simply take that system and say, this is how you can not just make money and make a transaction, but you can benefit everyone in the transaction. Can you talk to us about what it takes to equip yourself so that you know how to make things work in your industry, and then what that does when you're a speaker to be able to articulate, this is how you can learn this system too? I know you've got 3 days worth of a class that you can't say that, but what do you do to package that in such a way that people can actually implement it and do it?
I've always been a step-by-step kind of a guy, ever since, high school, and when I did my homework, I had folders of every class, and I went one thing at a time. And that's kind of how my brain works. Not everybody's brain works that way, but for our industry, for the seller finance note industry in Armstrong Capital, I try to train people on, you got to have the knowledge, you got to have the focus, you got to put the effort in, and then the profits come, right? So you got that knowledge, focus, desire, and effort, those 4 things, those are the things that are going to make you successful. I'm not going to make you successful. Brigham's not going to make you successful. You're going to make yourself successful. And you got to have the knowledge, skill, put the effort in and have that burning desire. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have that burning desire, and that's something a lot of people don't have. They really don't have that burning desire to get to where they want to be. They just want it to come easy and quick. And that's not how any business works, whether it's the note industry, a note business, or any other business that you're starting. It takes that knowledge, time, effort, and desire to get to where you're going.
Beautiful. A very concise answer for a complicated question. Thank you. One of the things I love about this is when we equip ourselves at the highest level with the right mentors, people like you, Jeff, who have done 2,000 plus transactions, you learn a few things that are warnings, and then you learn a few things that you're like, if you just follow this step-by-step process, it eliminates a lot of the headache. What are one of those tips or warnings that you're like, oh goodness, I wish I would have known this one earlier for speakers? Because you've done the speaking thing for quite a while. But
for speakers,
for speakers, for trainers, people that are communicating professionally, what are one of those experiences that you've had that you're like, you know what, this will help you avoid a lot of challenges?
I think for me, I'm a bit of a I don't know if you've ever heard the term imposter syndrome.
Oh,
right. And I've read about that, and for a while, I again, working at home, I'm alone. I don't have a lot of people around me, just my fiance and talk to my kids every day and every week. But it's one of those things where, gosh, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. Where were we talking about?
Speaker training. So if you had a tip for
speakers.
A speaker, what's one thing that you'd be like, this is going to save a lot of time, energy, or effort?
Right. I think it's, when someone asks you to be on stage, when you're in front of people, you have to keep in your mind that you are the expert in that topic that you're talking about at that certain point in time. And your experiences and your knowledge and everything that you are, goes into that. People look at you and are kind of wanting, your knowledge. And when I put that in my head, right before I go on stage anytime, I think, okay, they want to hear what I have to say. And I always get a little nervous. I don't think anyone doesn't get nervous before they go on stage in front of 600 or 6,000 people. It doesn't matter how many it is. I mean, I've spoken for 6 people sometimes when people just don't show up. But it's one of those things that you develop your inner confidence that, hey, they want to hear what I have to say. I'm not going to be up there stumbling and things. One of the things that I do to relax myself on stage is I try to get them to laugh really quick. And a lot of times what does it is my Twitter, right?
Yeah.
That's really Twitter. Oh, you did it. Yeah. Twitter.
I know you. I've been on lots of your trainings. You got to get Twitter.
It's awesome. One of the things about Twitter, well, let's explain it for everyone that's listening.
Yes, for sure. Definitely.
Twitter stands for, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. I picked it up. I'm sure I picked it up from Austin Powers years and years ago when it came out. And he doesn't say Twitter, but he says, that's what I'm talking about. Right. And it's just a lot of words to say. So I shorten things up. I do have a lot of acronyms around my house and from my business. But Twitter is one of those phrases that I say to pump myself up, to get myself excited about something, or if I'm watching something or I'm conversing with someone that gives me a good idea or something, just like, oh my gosh, that's so great. It's just a Twitter moment, right? So Twitter, I get that out there when I start speaking and people giggle and laugh and think it's stupid or whatever, but that's the real me. And once I get that first laugh and I'm on stage, that all the fear and anxieties and stress go away and the butterflies, and then it's just smooth sailing from that point on. So the tip is to be confident that you are in the right place, that they asked you to be there, that you are the person that needs to deliver that message on that day.
Wonderful. They asked you to be there. At some point, someone thought this was a good idea.
Right.
And own that. I love that. It's a beautiful tip. And using Twitter, find some way that you can get the audience to laugh. That's genius right there. Allow people to laugh. Suddenly they will start to endear themselves to you and
Yeah, they
start to
start
like
opening
you.
up a little bit more, and
Yeah.
they're, you can start. So a lot of times you can see, you start your presentation and they're
Yeah.
like this, and you really want them to relax. And when I see that happening, you're getting to them, and it's good to go. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, I would love to hear what it has taken to be able to use your expertise and be able to bring it to the stage, because not every single person that's an expert in their field gets to train, gets to be in front of other people and be a thought leader. You've
Mhm.
not just been a thought leader, but you've been a thought leader for decades now. What have you done to make that transition from this is what I need to do to be successful in my life, in my business, to I'm going to help other people and equip them to also do that?
I've been very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for the people that I've come across in my life. And you mentioned mentors and before, and there have been people in my life that have helped me along the way. And at the time, I didn't even know they were mentors. It was just friend, and they were helping out. And so in '96, I started my business in '91. By '96, I was going pretty good. I had already, quit my former job and doing this full time. And someone noticed me and said, "Wow, Jeff, you're coming up in the ranks. Why don't you present at our convention next month?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Present? I'm not a speaker. I don't know what present." He's like, "Just keep it simple. Talk about what you know, how you run your one-man business." Right. So that was the first presentation I ever did in 1996, San Francisco, 3,000 people. And I did, how I run my one-man business for 2 hours. And that was my very, very first experience. I did not know, I wasn't like a speaker before then. And once I was up there and once I started sharing, and these are the days, Brigham, this is old school. These are the days when they had a projector and you had to put your slides on the projector one at a time, right?
Yeah.
You put your slide on and it shows. There's no PowerPoint. There was no clickers. You're flipping plastic sheets with your content on it, right, as you're going through the class. And we're talking old school speaking, right?
Yeah.
So with that group, apparently I did well, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you should come out and speak some more." They actually brought us to their corporate headquarters and gave us speaker training and things like that. And I was involved with Train the Trainer at one point as well. Training other people to do it too. But that's where I kind of started, and I just kind of I got lucky. I got lucky that I met the right people. I got lucky that I recognized the opportunity and said yes. Instead of no, I'm not a speaker. Just like, all right, let me see what this goes. I'm a note guy, but I guess I could go share my knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And then that developed into the whole thing it is now. I mean, I've spoken all over the country. I'd love to speak internationally, but haven't had that chance yet. But it's just one of those things where you meet the right people, you make the right choices, and success will come. You just keep going.
That's beautiful. I do think there's always an element of luck, but luck is just opportunity meeting
Yes.
preparation.
Yeah.
And when you have that intersection, you say, here's the opportunity. I'm going to take it because I'm prepared with every experience I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yep. Nice.
I think anytime you've got experience that can help somebody else and you package it in such a way that they can use it, suddenly that's a very selfless act. And I think if speakers are always getting on stage to say, hey, look at me, look what I've done, here's my thing, they're not going to be very successful for very long.
Yeah.
It's kind of going back to what you said earlier about being humble, but yeah, go ahead.
No, that's 100% true. It's one of those things where, hey, Jeff, why do you come and speak? Why do you train people? You don't need to. No, I don't. I could live my life fine and be alone and do my bass fishing and go play golf, which I'm doing this afternoon. And
nice.
I can do that every day. But why are we here on life, right? We're here on life to here on earth to inspire people, to lift people up, and speaking and training and having books and doing podcasts. I mean, that's a way of giving back. that's a way of touching people. I mean, I bump into people. I was at a conference 2 weeks ago. I mentioned already in Tennessee, and someone came up to me and said, "Jeff, I don't think you remember me, but you spoke at a class in 2009, and I started doing it, and I just want to thank you so much for being the instigator." And I was like, that's why we do this. You do it because we can change lives. We can help people if they're in the right mindset to accept that assistance and knowledge. So it really is a way of giving back, and a lot of people don't believe it until they experience it themselves. But yeah, when you're at a level that you're doing well, and I'm doing fine. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I have the money to do it with. I think that's everyone's goal, right?
Yeah.
Do what you want to do when you want to do it, and have the money to do it with. It's just one of those things. I always say, if I want to go to Hawaii tomorrow, I could just go. And there's not a lot of people that can say that. So speaking and training is definitely a way to give back. Yes, I have books and resources and things, but they're there for people that want them. I don't hawk it out there. I'm not out there selling it all the time. It's just there for people that want it. And it's been great for me. I'm very grateful to be where I'm at now. I'm 59 going on 60 and been doing this for 34 years. So yeah, I was 25 when I started. So for you young'uns out there, get started, start doing something, and reach out for help from people that are willing to help you, like myself, like Brigham, like other people out there.
Wonderful. One of the things that really highlighted the reason behind doing this for me was you see the growth in other people. It's not enough to just say, hey, I can do this for myself, or even my intimate group of friends that know you very personally. Mm-hmm. When you put content out there, you're on podcasts, you share your experiences, you almost highlight possibility for people that they might not have seen had they not heard your story and your words. What that does is allows their heart to open up to what they can become. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the very best note broker in the world, but maybe that's going to change their financial situation enough that they can live into what they want to do. Because a lot of times people don't get into real estate because they love real estate. I wasn't that person. You get into real estate because what it can do for you, what right. the money does for you, what that lifestyle looks like, what the community around you and the entrepreneurs that are positive, what that does for you. So can you talk to us about the lifestyle that you have based on your experience with real estate? Because I think you have a very attractive lifestyle. And this is one of the Instagrammable things that people are like, that's what I want. This is why I do it. Let's hear Jeff's lifestyle and why you do it. Because it's probably not just about the money.
my lifestyle. Well, you got to have a little background to understand my lifestyle now. When I started working at 15 and a half, I had two other jobs before I started Armstrong Capital. One was at Subway. I worked there for a couple of weeks and got fired. Every day we would, at the end of the day, you clean out all the bins and a lot of food went in the trash. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're throwing out sandwiches. Mm-hmm. So I started making sandwiches and taking them to kids at school. And that was a no-no. Okay. I guess I stole because that was supposed to go in the trash bin and I took it out. Either way, next job, a couple weeks after that, I got a job at Ralph's grocery store in Southern California. And I worked there for 9 years and 11 months. And the last 6 years of it, I was a frozen foods night crew manager. I managed the night crew. I went in at 11 o'clock at night, got off at 8 o'clock, and then, did all of my entrepreneur stuff and trying to get better as I was, younger. So at that point, if you've never worked on a night crew or that night shift, that midnight to 8 a.m., that 10 to 6 or 10 to 7, if you've never done that, you will not understand this, but you don't sleep much. There's not a lot of sleep. I know, there's a lot of moms and dads out there too. They don't sleep because they have new babies and things. Mm-hmm. Think of that as well. So now my lifestyle now is one of my number one priorities is sleep. I love sleeping. Right. So this is really early for me today. We make, I don't stay up late either, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, maybe at the latest. but we'll sleep in till 8, 9, 10 sometimes, and I get up when my body says it's had enough sleep usually. So my lifestyle today is, we sleep, I get up, the fiance makes a beautiful avocado toast with a duck egg on it in the morning. And then I dive into the emails for a couple hours. We may go for a walk on the beach, on the channel there, to get that daily, exercise in and that daily vitamin D. Come back, take care of what needs to be taken care of. But I'm really only working maybe 4 to 6 hours a day, if that. And some days I can just answer what needs to be answered and do what I need to do and call the attorneys that need to be, lit a fire under, and call the title companies that, so these days it's a very relaxed lifestyle. I try to go bass fishing on my bass boat once a week. I try to get it out and play golf a couple times a month, and just eat good food, have good people around you. That's the lifestyle. The lifestyle is, no worries. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it and have the money to do it with, that's the lifestyle. There's no, everything's free and clear. I don't need to do anything. But I do it to, for that. We can talk about this too, the generational wealth, for my fiance, when I pass away, for my kids, when I pass away, doing that and getting your ducks in a row for that as well. I mean, that's all part of the lifestyle. The lifestyle is you do what you want to do when you want to do it and have the money to do it with. That's the lifestyle.
That's beautiful. If we want to get into that generational wealth, let's actually do that. I think understanding how you came into the priority of your sleep is really helpful for people, because not everyone wants the same things. If you say, imagine a better life, everyone's going to be thinking of slightly different things. But for you, it's, I get to wake up when I want to wake up. I think that's
to sleep.
That's so good. For me, I'm an early bird and I love to get up and attack my day and get at all the different fun things that I have, because I'm so excited.
Age difference. It's just age difference
too, for sure.
I mean, I'm not a senior at all. I'm not in that category, even though they say I am. I'm not. We live in a retirement community here. We got seniors all around us, and it's great to pick their brains and hear their stories and gain that insight from them on their years past. But yeah, in my younger days, I absolutely was doing the same thing, getting up early ladder, and it looks like we just froze here for a second.
Oh, for a second, yep.
You still there?
I can still hear you though. Yeah, I'm still here. But kind of like what you were saying with generational wealth, for me, it's not just how much money can you accrue. It's how do you get the cash flow consistently. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me all right?
There we go.
All right. There we are. Okay. So with generational wealth, it's also generational knowledge. It's that idea of being able to connect deeply with your generational people, all those posterity that are part of your legacy. So Jeff, hopefully we can get you back on. It looks like you froze just for a second. I'll pause just for a moment. Check. Can you hear me all right? Well, I'll go off on generational wealth just for a second, since we're waiting for him to come back on. One of the things that I think about when it comes to generational wealth is the importance of that knowledge factor. What are the things that you have in your trust? What are the things you have in how you lay out your experiences? Not every single one of us have the same level of understanding in all different facets of life. But the key to this is, who do you surround yourself with? Who do you want to model and mimic?
Whoops.
Let's see. Oh, I can hear you still, but it still is not letting the video come through for some reason, Jeff. If you want, you can hop off and hop back on. That might be able to do it. If I hit this. No worries. But coming back to the importance of generational wealth, like we were saying, you want to make sure that you have the right information that gets passed on through your legacy. You talk to your family, let them know what your values are, and then you live into the values. A lot of times people don't see you clearly because they don't feel like you're in integrity, or you're like, oh, this is only kind of what you're talking about. People will see what you do way more than your ideals. So as you live into your ideals, as you do all those different things, generational wealth is what you leave behind. I was thinking about this idea of how you judge a prophet is by the fruits that they create. Same thing as a husband, as a father, as a businessman. What are the fruits or the results of your actions? Hopefully he can come back in here. Completely frozen. Jeff, can you still hear me? Yeah. No, can't hear him right now. We'll go like that just for a moment. Add to stage. All righty. We'll have to cut it there for a moment, but not a problem. This is kind of exciting. I am going to be going to Man in the Arena this weekend. And what that is an exciting opportunity to get a brotherhood of people really coming together, dialing in our ideals, getting things really in alignment. With the final percent, I am going to go with our Gamma group. We're all coming together, making a movement. Really, you think about it, where we are is not where we want to stay. We want to continually grow, continually get better, implement our ideals and these things that are moving us forward, and say, hey, how can we be a little bit better? What is that legacy? That generational wealth for me is, what is that generational legacy? If I stop today, what do my kids take away from the life that I've led? What are the things that we're doing on a day in, day out basis? Those consistent daily actions like Hugh Zareski talks about. Let's see, it says device is not connected. He'll hop in just a moment. I can see that. Jeff's going to be right back in a moment. Looks like he's almost here. He hopped off and hopping back in. Let me see if I'll add him back to the stage. Still buffering. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to figure this out. That's part of the fun of doing a live, is when you have technology on one side not work. But luckily I got your back, guys. If you are interested in growing your ideas, making sure you're getting better, this is key. Make sure that your generational wealth, that knowledge, is not just staying in your head. You need to get it out on paper. You get it out in front of people. Oh, Jeff's back. That's what I'm talking about. Hopefully he can hear me now. It looks like he's coming through. Jeff, can you hear me now? Check, check. We'll see if that's going to work this time. Welcome back. He's still there. Maybe he's here. We're going to find out. This is how it goes. Playing the game with technology. That's always fun. Oh, it's so funny. Well, that's all right. Oh, going back to what Jeff was saying about lifestyle, though, it really is, what is the life that you want to design? I feel like a good portion of how we show up is the things that we've read months and maybe even years ago that we've implemented over time. When you think about the drip effect, it's this desray tranche. Like if you are having that drip water, eventually it will penetrate the stone. But don't tell old Chinese people this, but there are better ways to drill through a stone. There are faster ways to get things done. And one of the things that I've noticed when you're around amazing people like Jeff, like Dr. Greg Kimball, like what we're doing here with the Man in the Arena this weekend, when you're around the right people, you start to see things in a new light. You start to find different ways that all of this comes together. And when you have the right weapons, you have the right tools, you have the right equipment, you're geared up in a way that you can help solve harder problems. Like if you're going to dig a foundation for a house, you don't want to do it with a spoon. It'll take a very long time. You want to get the right tools so you can expedite your results. If you think about it, if someone is going to knock down a house, they're going to want like a bulldozer. They're going to want something that they can do it in a very efficient manner with a machine. However, if you are thinking about all of the the things that you could do with like a sledgehammer. You'll eventually get through the house, but it's not super fast and it's kind of ineffective. Just like what Jeff was talking about earlier, if you want to be a noteworthy speaker, this is a really important tip, guys. If you want to be a noteworthy speaker, live in your experiences the very best you can. There's a reason that you're here. There's a reason that you have opportunities afforded you. There are things that you know, that you've experienced, that you've talked with people about. And as you have experienced those things, they will be able to help you be better, do better, have more in all different elements of your life. But it doesn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of times it's not the how to, it's the who do you need to go to. Finding the right mentors, finding the right people that you surround yourself with, that law of association starts to gear you in the right way and you shift your mentality. Oh, he's almost like he keeps hopping on for a second and dropping off. I don't know what's going on with his stuff, but this is also interesting. When you look at who you're being, he talked about the importance of overcoming your fear. He used the word nervousness or your nerves. Nerves is just another word for excitement. If you reframe that and say, I'm really excited right now. I have 3,000 people that are wanting to listen to me that have said, you know what, this is a good idea. I wanted to hear them. I wanted to hear this experience that he has. And he's got some things that I know will be able to help. That's awesome. Every single one of us have experiences that if we're put on stage, we could share with confidence because we are competent in that area. If you don't have competence, it's because you're incompetent in that area you're talking about. For instance, if we were going to take your experience as a speaker, you say, hey, I want to be a better speaker. I want to connect deeper with my audience. You can look through all of the times that you've been able to open your mouth and connect deeply with someone. And you can shift that ideal for people as you share, this is what I've done, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. You don't say, hey, this is what I would like to do, or this is what I have potentially done. You stay in that realm of expertise, and suddenly you can talk circles around it because you're in truth and living in your experience. It takes a lot of the pressure off when you're just saying, this is what I've done, this is what I've experienced. And it's your perspective on that experience. As you bring in other experts, as you connect with other mentors, you have multiple frameworks that allow you to see things in new lights. It allows you to experience things through different eyes or lenses. And those are the times when life starts to get a little bit more exciting. I've been working super hard on getting this value-driven storytelling framework out to more people. And it's literally this simple. I keep coming back to it because of this. It's 5 things. You focus on what's significant in your life. Every experience that you have is not created equal. There are some significant ones and there's some that are just meant for you and maybe your journal. You hit those significant experiences that will be significant for you and your audience. Suddenly that can become an aha moment that changes somebody else. Then you translate those things. You make sure that it's relevant for your audience. You give them reason to say, oh, that's what that means for me here. That's my framework that I can see. This is where it relates. You tie it back to their life, to their community, to their systems, to the admiration, all the different things that they're like, oh, this is what I want. I can do that. As long as you are translating it in such a way that allows your audience to see themselves in your story, that story can be valuable. And then you make sure that you've got the objective very clear and you're fighting for that objective. You're going on point. All of these elements are going to be how you create and frame and deliver that message. And then the relive portion, this is the R, when you are reliving your story, think of it this way. Reliving is adding every performance element that you can to make sure that this audience in this moment is going to be able to receive that message. And then you have a clear, concise call to action. That's the yes. Get them to say, you know what? I'm going to say yes to my life. I'm going to say yes to this new opportunity. Whatever it is that they commit to, if they don't make a commitment, that's not real leadership. It's just management. You just say, hey, do this, do this, do this. They didn't commit. You're not managing effectively. Leadership is helping someone commit and then managing that commitment, accountability to that commitment. It's not how you feel about doing something that matters or the excuses. You need to have reasons or you can have results. You say, did you do the thing you said you wanted to do? If you did, great. If you didn't, great. Let's figure out what we can do next time. And all of those elements playing together, that's the story framework. That's the simplest way that I can say you can improve your communication utilizing that framework. Now, if you don't have a hook, that's the pen in hand idea, that pen in hand method. That hook will make it so that people don't want to hear your story. So you have to dial in your hook. As soon as you dial in that hook, you're like, oh, I want to hear that. Then you can deliver the value through the story. And then at the very end of it, there's still this gift, this packaging that has to be done so that you show up the very best that you can. You give with all of your heart. You make sure that it's indelible in their head and it really sticks, right? You flip that switch and say, you know, whatever else is going on in my life, I don't care, it's going to happen. And then you tailor that message specifically for your audience. So whatever element of that message matches their desires, we'll be able to help them. That's the framework. That's what I'm so passionate about. That's what I'm excited about this book. I have written like 71,000 words, more than that, but 71,000 words on this. We're condensing it now to like a really punchy, intense book. It's going to be excellent. Oh, Jeff is back. I'm going to add him back here onto the stage. Can you hear me now, Jeff?
Yes, I don't know what happened there, but
that's what I'm talking about. We're back. We're back. Fantastic.
Computers. Yeah.
Computers.
I don't know.
That's how it goes. I don't remember where we were. I just riffed for a little bit. So
wow, that was good for
so
you. I couldn't get back in. It was crazy. Either way, I'm back. Yeah, I think we were hitting generational wealth.
Yeah, let's hit generational wealth. I talked about the importance of the knowledge piece of generational wealth. Why don't we talk about what generational wealth means for you as far as your legacy and why it matters so much? Because it's not just what it is, it's why that people want to hear about.
I think every parent wants their family and their kids to do well, right? Every adult wants their family and their kids to do well, and be taken care of when we're not around. That's one thing, to leave an inheritance or something like that. But when we're talking about generational wealth, we're talking about not just your kids, but your grandkids and your grandkids' kids. Mm-hmm. How can I affect their future lives? I won't be around to see them. I've got maybe 42 more years, 43 more years on this planet. I'm going to live till I'm 102. That's what I decided. And, when you put the intentions out there, things happen, right?
Right.
So the generational wealth, though, is the system I have built within the seller finance note industry. And the way that it generates wealth, long term, it's get rich slow, not get rich quick in the note industry. Mm-hmm. And it just grows and builds. And for the generations in the future, they may or may not know what they have coming to them, but when they do, it will definitely keep them at a position to keep enjoying their lives as well. I guess that's kind of my perspective on generational wealth.
Oh, that's excellent. One of the things that I've noticed about the top tier leaders, the very best of the best in the businesses, they are geniuses when it comes to concentration. I have one of my favorite quotes by Charles Haanel. He says, 100% concentration is the distinguishing mark of a genius. How did you discover notes were your thing because you're the notes guy? And then how did you put the blinders on so hey, I'm not going to go do fix and flips. I'm not going to go do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this only until I'm successful at it. How did you discover that process? Because you're a brilliant example of this. Well, how you discovered it. Yeah.
There's more to that background story. As I was working at Ralph's grocery store, I had my days kind of free. Mm-hmm. You work night crew, you get off at 8 a.m., you're home by 9, and you're like, I'm not going to sleep all day. So I was very entrepreneurial when I was in my younger years, 16 till today. I'm still an entrepreneur, still always looking for great opportunities. And at that time, they had these infomercials, and I call them dog and pony shows, or they send you something in the mail and says, hey, make $10,000 a month for the rest of your life. And you go to this thing and you buy books and tapes. This was in the 80s, right? 80s and 90s. There were these dog and pony shows. And I went to a lot of those. I was trying to find my entrepreneurial thing. What's going to make me rich? How can I get wealthy and be successful? And I did a lot of them. A couple of them were successful, and then I finally did hit this one. I went to a $7,500 boot camp. I got a thing in the mail, and it said exactly that: make $10,000 a month for the rest of your life. Now, today, I mean, everyone listening, anyone would take $10,000 a month for the rest of your life, even today. And this was back in 1991. Mm-hmm. So I went to all these things trying to look for my thing. What's going to be the thing for me? I was already doing real estate. I did the Dave Delgado system for all you oldsters out there. He was one of the first infomercial gurus on how to buy real estate, no money down. And I did that at 19 years old. I bought a triplex. I lived in one unit, rented out the other two. By 25 years old, I had 27 doors. I was already tired of being a landlord, and I was looking for something better. So I'm going to all these dog and pony shows, trying to find my next thing. And I go to this one, make $10,000 a month for the rest of your life. I walk in there, the polished speaker starts spouting off his stuff. And within 15 minutes, he says, be the bank, not the landlord. And I was like, I'm in, because I hate being a landlord already at 25 years old. So I went to this. I called in sick for a week, $7,500 5-day boot camp. And I just knew, I just knew in my heart of hearts that this is for me. This is what I'm doing the rest of my life, right? It's real estate involved. It's passive income. There's a lot of work. It's active passive. Where's that payment? We're active in our business here. And I think that's kind of how I envision that. That's how we do that.
Yeah, be the bank, not the landlord. That was the aha moment.
That was the aha. That was the aha. And I've been a big Think and Grow Rich fan since 15 years old. Someone gave me that book, and that was that is the cornerstone of my success. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. My idea, I want to have 100 units, by the time I'm 50. And well, now I'm 59, and I don't have units. I have notes. I've got lots and lots of notes. So it was definitely a feeling. Napoleon Hill talks about that burning desire. Mm-hmm. And when I was in that class and I was doing that stuff, this is for me. I just knew, I don't. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. You just know in your heart of hearts that this is for you. This business is for me. This lifestyle is for me. And it just, the vision at that time when I was 25 was great. And it still is. I have a great vision for the future. But that's kind of where that came from. Yeah.
I think that's a great way to think about how you make those discoveries. You put yourself in the environment where those can happen. Like $7,500 even in 1991, that's quite a bit of an investment, right?
That was 3 credit cards.
Credit cards.
That's what that was. I had no money. Yeah. I didn't come from money. So that was 3 credit cards to go to that class. And those are the choices, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone makes choices. And I went to dozens and dozens of classes before that cost hundreds or thousands of dollars also. I would really wanted to find my thing, and I found my thing.
I think that's beautiful. Every single one of us has some reason or some purpose that we're here. And I'm a very creative person. I feel like I'm a creative genius. When you are creating something, you get to uncover that purpose. If you're saying, hey, this is why I'm doing this, that purpose is there. When you created the book or you created whatever it was, there's a purpose underlying everything. And I believe that we have a creator. And we have a purpose that's there to discover for us. I'm so glad you found your purpose, because now you're helping other people walk in purpose and on purpose, whether they become notes professionals or not. Because I think that's huge. You live on purpose and you say, this is how I found it. That gives them permission to do the same. Go ahead. You had an idea.
They, when you go to those conferences and stuff, and we talked earlier about, seeing people that you taught from 10 years ago. What also is interesting when you see people, that you taught in the past or you've spoken to in the past, and they took your information and they made their own business out of it. They made their own lifestyle out of it. And it was really neat to see, especially at this last one. I saw some people I haven't seen for 5-10 years, and to see what they've done with the knowledge I gave them about the note industry, and to see how they created their little niche in the real estate industry was really, really nice to see. It really gave me that heartfelt, warm feeling like, oh my gosh, I did good, 12 or 16 years ago when I was speaking to this guy. Yeah. It's just really neat to see you're changing lives. You don't even know it. You're giving people some direction. You're giving people some hope, because it's out there. Life is great. I don't have cable. I don't watch a lot of TV. I think people should turn their TVs off and just stop watching all that, especially the news stuff. But a lot of what people watch on TV and even now in social media is distracting, and it takes you away from your focus, and it takes you away from your desire. Because you keep seeing all these things online, and I desire that, and you don't even know what you really desire anymore because everyone's throwing so much at you. It's again, I'm very grateful to be where I'm at, to be in the position that I'm in, and to do the things that we do. But still, we want to share it more. We want everyone to feel this way. I want everyone in the world to do what they want to do when they want to do it and have the money to do it with. And if they do it through notes, Seller Finance Notes, that's great. If they do it from some other way, that's wonderful as well. If I inspired you, that's my purpose is to inspire people to go out and live their best lives.
That's a beautiful little bow at the end of our conversation. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow.
To live into your very best self, put the little purpose behind all that you shared. I think that was wonderful. Thank you for not just who you are, but what you do consistently. Because a lot of times, I learned this as an actor, it's not just what you say you want to do or your intentionality, it's what choices and creative choices you actually make. So thank you for consistently making excellent choices and great decisions. And 2,000 plus transactions shows you've made some really good decisions in your life. So you're a wonderful example. Guys, if you're wanting to be in the note industry, or you're like, hey, I want to dabble in this, you don't dabble, but you definitely want to get in Jeff's ecosystem. Absolutely phenomenal. Best of the best that I know in the industry, and so grateful to have you on today. What a wonderful conversation, and thank you so much for all that you do. If you don't mind, where do people go and find out more about you, and tell us where they can find you online?
Sure. Well, thank you, Brigham, for having me on. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully that won't show up too much.
Oh, don't worry.
If people want to know more about the note industry, I do have a weekly newsletter. Go to my website, armstrongcapital.com, click on Note Brokers. And I think actually on any page, there's a little sign up area to sign up for the weekly newsletter. It goes out every Wednesday morning. It's got really good content, a different article every week, a business tip every week, my President's Corner, that's where I do my venting and that kind of stuff. Because it's not all rosy, guys. I mean, everyone sees you and you're this note guy, and you do what you want to do when you want to do it and have money to do it with. But I'm just a regular guy, right? I got laundry. I got to start right after this. I got to, cut my toenails. We got to do all the same stuff. We're doing all the same stuff. We're all humans. Just do the best you can. Connect with people. If you think notes might be your thing, check that out, and we'll help in any way we can. That's how we continue to grow our businesses, by helping others.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brigham.
Guys, it was a pleasure to talk with you. And if you're like, hey, I really want to get into his class, feel free to reach out to me. I will get you connected, because
absolutely,
I love Renatus. It has changed my life in so many ways. That was my very first introduction to you. And I'm so grateful for what Bob Snyder has done for me and for so many other, 20,000+ people had their life changed because of that.
It's a great community.
Wonderful community. So if you're interested in that, please reach out. I'm here to help you guys. And so thankful for you, Jeff. Man, what a great conversation. Really appreciate all that you do. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time. God bless.
Twitter.
Twitter. I'll go like, yeah, Twitter.
Yeah, there we go. Right. Thank you.